Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. Well, the debunkers are extremely desperate at this moment in time about the UFO phenomenon and about UFO disclosure advocates in general, because now they're starting to disappear some of these disclosure advocates, some of the bigger, well-known names, from the pages of Wikipedia. They don't want people to even know about these, who's out there, pushing this disclosure effort. They don't want people to even think about it. That's what it is. It's a form of censorship. They've lost the plot. Their whole ideology is bankrupt, and now they have resorted to this. They actually removed Christopher Mellon's name from Wikipedia. He had a Wikipedia page. It's now gone. The only way you could look at that page now is using somebody used the Wayback Machine for the internet, and you could read it that way. But they removed his name from Wikipedia. That's because they're losing the battle here. They're finally, it's all coming to a crashing conclusion, and they're desperate. They can't do anything outside of ridiculing people. That's about it. That's all they can really do, ridiculing people. And now, because that's really not working anymore, right? So now they've resorted to disappearing people from Wikipedia. Now they were, of course, guerrilla skepticism of Wikipedia, that group of debunker cultists that has control over pages on Wikipedia, particularly the UFO and alien pages. Anything for the most part, when you go read about aliens or UFOs on Wikipedia, you'll see a lot of comments in there from debunkers that poo-poo it to make it look like it's all nothing, and then anybody who reported these things are crazy. And these people, and meanwhile, we're forced to read what someone like Brian Dunning, one of these noted debunkers, was forced to read what his thoughts are, when the guy really just sitting from his armchair, dreaming up possible explanations, prosaic explanations, without doing any kind of research. That's what these people do. They just don't do any research. And so now this is why they have now stooped to this level. They removed Christopher Mellon's page from Wikipedia, and of course you have to remember, whether you love him or hate him, whether you love Christopher Mellon or you hate Christopher Mellon, right? This guy was a top official in the United States government, and he's someone who has been talking now for almost, since 2017, 2018. He's been in the public eye with regard to UFO disclosure efforts. He's someone who has come to understand and come to believe that there is hidden programs and reverse engineering programs, crash retrieval programs. He's talked about it. He's appeared in documentaries like in the phenomenon from James Fox that was released in 2020, things like that. And so now he's gone. He was actually helped facilitate those videos getting brought to the public's attention. The original videos from 2017 that were leaked. He was all part of that. And so now, but that's, we can't have this guy on Wikipedia. He's not important anymore. Because that's all they got. All they got now is censorship. The only thing they can do, the debunkers, they have control of Wikipedia. So the only thing that they can do is just start disappearing some of these names. So then maybe that will make it go away, because they got nothing else. And you're going to see as we talk about this, exactly how bad it really is for them. Anyway, I saw this. I've been actually commenting here and there on X about this for the past week. It started, the first time I learned about this was on April 23rd, when Matt Ford of the Good Trouble Show with Matt Ford published this. He just said Christopher Mellon's Wikipedia page has been deleted. And there was a lot of other comments from people about this. And it says, somebody else, UAP Reporting Center wrote, "Here's who did it." It says, the Wikipedia page for Christopher Mellon was nominated for deletion on April 9th, 2025 by a user named Chetsford. The discussion regarding the deletion involved 4 participants and was relisted. According to a Wikipedia project alert, the article was deleted on April 21st, 2025 by an administrator named Eddie 891. Based on the available information, the specific reasons for the deletion are not provided within the context. However, it indicates that a deletion discussion took place among Wikipedia editors before the page was removed. Yeah, see, these people are hell-bent on trying to hush this whole thing up. They hate this. They hate it. This guerrilla skepticism of Wikipedia group, which is headed by this woman who's on the screen right now, Susan Gerbic. This is outrageous. Here's some of the things that were posted over the past few days here. This is another post from Matt Forty. He wrote, "Sources have informed us that Jimmy Wales, founder of Wikipedia, is well aware of the operation the guerrilla skeptics of Wikipedia conducts, as well as the other coordinated debunking efforts aimed at defaming public figures on their platform." Yeah, so whoever they don't like, whoever they think is really making a difference in this UFO disclosure effort, right? That's who they're targeting, it seems now. Like someone like Christopher Mellon. Before we even go on here, I just want to talk about here's what Christopher Mellon's Wikipedia page used to look like when it was there. Now the only way to find it here is to use the Wayback Machine. And by the way, I will leave a link to this Wayback Machine page that somebody so generously posted onto X. But as you all know, he had a long political career. His years active were from 1985 to 2004. He comes from a very notable family, the Mellon family. And he started in 2016 when he was asked about UFOs. He didn't think there was anything to it, but then later on he changed his mind. Like here was a segment from an opinion piece that he was published in The Hill that was written by Mellon. It says, "I am approaching the UAP topic as a member of two serious groups of scientific researchers, the Galileo Project and the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies. Both of these UAP research organizations have gathered able groups of scientists who are seeking to advance our collective understanding of UAP anomalies. Those efforts now appear to be hindered by new guidance that moves the classification yardsticks merely because some U.S. government officials dislike oversight and are uncomfortable sharing information." But anyway, of course, as we all know, he also was featured in the 2020 UFO documentary, The Phenomenon. In that documentary, he stated that he was the source who provided the 3 Pentagon UFO videos, which made the lavish front-page Sunday spread of the New York Times on December 17, 2017. So this is one of the biggest stories of all time in 2017. Mellon was partly responsible for that story appearing in the New York Times at the time. So what does that cause this guerrilla skepticism of Wikipedia or its acolytes or whoever's responsible? Apparently these are people, they hate this subject. They hate the whole topic of UFOs and aliens. They want people to stop talking about it. So what do? Because that's not working, and more evidence keeps coming out. So what do? They just, you know what? I can't deal with having Christopher Mellon's biography page on here on Wikipedia anymore. Okay, let's think about what they're doing here. Think about how rotten this is. Think about the censorship involved in this. I mean, imagine doing this to one of them. Mick West has his own. You're going to tell me Mick West is a more important person than Christopher Mellon? I mean, Christopher Mellon, he was the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence in the Clinton and Bush administrations. And he also formerly served as the staff director of the United States Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. He's a member of the influential Mellon family of the greater Pittsburgh area, so on and so forth. So you're going to tell me that this guy is less important than some of these debunkers like Mick West, right? Or Brian Dunning. Brian Dunning has his own website, his own Wikipedia page. Why does he have his own Wikipedia page? What's so important about these people? What's so important? So what if there was a different group on the other side, pro-UFO disclosure advocates that somehow got a foothold on Wikipedia and just started deciding to delete those names from it, thinking that they're not important? See, that's not how it's supposed to be done. It doesn't matter whether you like or hate someone. The guy is famous, and he's responsible partly for the 2017 release of those Pentagon UFO videos. But it even gets worse from there. They actually, even worse, they just tried to disappear Harald Malmgren's here. They just tried to disappear Harald Malmgren's Wikipedia page. Now they were stating that it was up for possible deletion, but now that's gone. So apparently, I'm assuming Jimmy Wales, who's one of the co-founders of Wikipedia, maybe he stopped it. Who knows what stopped it? But there was an outcry, and now it's not up for that anymore. If you look at his Wikipedia page, it's still there. Yesterday or the day before, when I looked at it, there was something up on top here that stated that it had been nominated for deletion. by an editor. Obviously, it didn't happen. This guy's too important. Malmgren served under 4 different presidents, starting with Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, and then Ford. And he was someone who just for decades, right, never said anything about UFOs. But now, since last year, he passed away in February. But since last year, he's been talking about them. And he had an interview recently. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this interview with Jesse Michaels on YouTube. There was a 4-hour video that was filmed. A podcast, an interview that was filmed before Malmgren passed away, along with his daughter Pipa, and that video it's 4 hours long, but it was fascinating. He talked about all his involvement in this, and he was obviously there was nothing when he was answering questions and talking about his experiences with UAP and the cover-up. I mean, he was very cognitively sharp during this entire affair. I mean, this guy didn't lose a step here, and he wanted to get this information out before he passed away, obviously. So what do? This interview just comes out, and now all of a sudden, we gotta nominate this guy for deletion. This is getting really bad. I'm getting really scared. We gotta get rid of these people. We gotta just pretend they don't even exist. That's what they tried to do, but apparently somebody changed their mind. Now, as of this moment, it's Sunday afternoon, 4:55 p.m. Eastern Time. There is still a post with regard to Pipa Malmgren, his daughter, and they're trying to still possibly remove her Wikipedia page. It says here, an editor has nominated this article for deletion. You are welcome to participate in the deletion discussion, which will decide whether or not to retain it. But anyway, she's an American technology entrepreneur and economist, the daughter of Harald Malmgren. She served as special assistant to the President of the United States, George Bush, the economic policy on the National Economic Council, and as a former member of the President's Working Group on Financial Markets, blah, blah, blah. She has another very impressive resume, but you know what? Because she appeared in that interview, because she's supported her late father in the interview of process, and because of that, because of her connection now with UFOs, gotta get rid of that. Right? So this is what they're doing. This is not right. This is censorship. And how would they like it if this was happening to them? This is not right. It's completely wrong. This is totally anti-democratic. It's totally anti-American. You don't do this. Wikipedia is it's probably the most trusted. But that's starting to go away now. It's not, people are going to start looking at this a totally different way, like I've been talking about before, with how they handle stories with regard to UFOs and aliens. Right? They try to make it look ridiculous for the most part, these debunker cultists, and their acolytes, right? They try to make it look stupid and ridiculous, and now they're disappearing names because they don't like these. There's nowhere else for them to do. There's nowhere else for them to turn at this point, right? It's out of control, right? So that's all they can do. But I think hopefully it's hard to believe. I mean, again, whether you hate him or like him, Christopher Mellon should never have had his Wikipedia page removed like this. That is absolutely absurd. Just this indiscriminate removal of Wikipedia pages just because you don't like things that people said. So you just want to try to push them out of the light, push them out of the spotlight. You don't like that. And that's not right. I mean, there's people, I don't like the debunkers. I don't think Brian Dunning should have a page on there, a Wikipedia page, but he does. Why is he there? Maybe he should be removed. I mean, what the hell has he done for the world? Nothing. What has Mick West done? Nothing, except lead them down a garden path of falsehoods, as far as I'm concerned. Why is his name up there? Why is he more important than someone like Christopher Mellon? Tell me. I'd like to know. It's absurd. Wikipedia is, like I said, it should be a source of, there should be no bias here. It should just be information and facts. And that's what it should be, right? Not this nonsense. This is nonsense. It's so bad now they're just going to delete names from there of people they don't like. And I'm probably over time they'll probably start removing some of the famous UFO incidents because they'll just deem it, that's just silly. That could not have happened because I don't believe it. And they'll just remove it like that, willy-nilly. So this has to come to an end. So hopefully, luckily and gladly, it looks like Harald Malmgren's name's going to remain. But his daughter's name his daughter's page looks like it might be removed. And we already know that Christopher Mellon's page has been removed. Hopefully that will be returned because of the complaints that people have been issuing online. Let's go through some of those complaints, actually. Yeah, here was something from Think Tank. He said on Twitter. He says they reduced Harald Malmgren's Wikipedia to say he was just a paid lobbyist with no mention of anything else. Yeah, so they actually did make some changes to it. They did remove some things from it, but I mean, apparently they're talking about deleting the whole thing. So they did make some changes to it. Apparently. They don't want people to think about this subject. They in their minds, right? They're so afraid of this. They don't want to face it. They can't do any sort of. There's no legitimate. They don't. Here's the bottom line. They do not have any way to legitimately debunk a lot of the stuff that's out there right now, and they know it's coming to an end. The house of cards has fallen. The ship is already sunk. They're already on the bottom of the ocean. That's where they're at. They sunk. It sunk a long time ago, right? And it's really bad right now, and it's embarrassing, and it looks pathetic to me. And then actually, here was another post on April 23rd from Matt Ford. He says the following Wikipedia pages of folks advocating for government transparency on UFOs have been nominated for deletion by Wikipedia editor Chetsford. Yeah, this Chetsford guy, apparently he's part of this cabal, self-called cabal of moronic debunkers. It was Mellon, the Malmgrens, and it says here, he says, this weaponization of Wikipedia is information warfare in its rawest form, and the organized skeptic/debunker community is behind this, such as Gerbic and her supporters, such as Mick West. They use whatever means necessary to push their fanatical beliefs by way of manipulating information on Wikipedia and other platforms, literally controlling what information the general public sees on the 7th most visited website, Wikipedia. Yep. Nothing flies in the face of democracy more than this. And he also said it's time for Congress to investigate. Let's see what else was on here. Lou Elizondo wrote on Twitter, he said, "We have long known Wikipedia has been hijacked by agenda-driven individuals who seek to shape public conversations according to their own narratives. This behavior is dangerous and undemocratic. Maybe I'm next. Bring it on." Yeah, there were people who reached out to Jimmy Wales. He's the founder of Wikipedia, trying to get him to look into this, and maybe he has been looking in. But Malmgren's page is there, but I'm not sure what has been deleted over the past couple of. There apparently was up for complete deletion, but it's still there. But his daughter's still up for deletion. It might be removed. We just don't know. I mean, Malmgren actually stated in those interviews with Jesse Michaels that he actually handled it himself. He touched UFO material himself. I mean, you have to see that interview if you haven't seen it. It's amazing stuff. Ross Coulthart wrote about the censorship. He said, "What a total grub the anonymous censor is who was trying to delete any mention of former JFK advisor Harald Malmgren and his daughter Pipa from Wikipedia. Within 24 hours of Alchemy American going online with his excellent interview, someone tried to hide Harald's extraordinarily unimpeachable credentials online by seeking to delete his Wikipedia entry. Congress needs to investigate whoever it is that's trying to alter history by deleting a perfectly accurate Wikipedia entry. Let's hope it's just a deluded nutjob skeptic zealot. Surely it would not be the security state trying to hide this decent man's honorable service and his courageous decision to speak out about the UAP cover-up in the final weeks of his life. Yeah, surely it wouldn't be, would it? No, it's deluded skeptics, deluded debunkers, people who hate this. And here was a comment from Jesse Michaels himself. He said, Harald Malmgren's Wikipedia page was successfully altered yesterday. He is now called an American writer and lobbyist, no longer a top presidential aide and diplomat who avoided World War III, among other incredible accomplishments. Just some random guy representing Japanese business interests in the United States and soliciting corporate clients using government connections. This is pure BS and obviously a reaction to our video, not some desire to get things right. The timing is all you need to know. Jimmy Wales, who's the founder of Wikipedia, how do we reverse this and stop paid skeptic operatives so Wikipedia can maintain its quality? This man served his country for decades and just passed away. He can't defend himself. It's completely shameless. Yeah. And he actually was Malmgren was actually in on the negotiations to stop the Cuban Missile Crisis from becoming World War III. Of course, they're trying to delete this guy. Imagine how desperate this is, how pathetic. It's pathetic. Here was another one from Vicky Verma on the 24th. Vicky wrote, "Yes, someone mysterious deleted former U.S. intelligence official Christopher Mellon's Wikipedia page. The biography of former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence Christopher Mellon has been deleted. He's probably the most verbally calculated of the UFO insiders when it comes to discussing the UFO phenomenon in a public venue." Yep, it's unbelievable, but you know what? It's expected. This is, you know, what else they don't got anything. Again, their whole argument, their whole platform, it's bankrupt. Their whole ideology, it's bankrupt. There's nothing there. They were wrong, and it's really bothering them. They're having issues. It's tearing them to pieces. Their whole careers, right, is coming to a crashing conclusion right now because they were wrong. And I mean, that's the whole problem. You want to be a debunker, a UFO debunker? It was a wrong choice. Let me tell you why. Because it's real. It's absolutely positively real. There's some sort of a non-human intelligence here. So it was a very, very poor decision to become one of these UFO debunkers. You really should have thought that through, because just one instance, right? One thing that gets finally, that if there was anything out there with regards to this phenomenon that we're able to prove unequivocally, right, your whole house of cards comes crashing down, and that's what's happened. That's what's happened. And you have the more and more people stepping forward. I can't believe that that they're trying to delete Harald Malmgren. That is incredible. It's just so sick. But speaking of sick, yeah, you know, I did get some blowback with regards to my previous show, with regard to the ChatGPT discussion on the Las Vegas alien incident. Most of the stuff I received, though, thankfully, was positive. But it was so funny. Some comments, right? One comment in particular that I'm going to talk about, I received. It was someone seemed so desperate to not want to believe in this after seeing that presentation. It was almost an hour and a half long. And if you haven't seen this, you should check it out. If you haven't seen my previous show yet, don't forget to check it out, because I would ChatGPT, that whole conversation, you would see how I plugged in a lot of information with regards to that case, only facts, and at the end it came to the conclusion that it was over 99% real. I mean, the probability was over 99. It was greater than 99% that it really happened, and it was just. It was fascinating as far as I was concerned. I mean, basically, unlike an unreasonable person who has a biased agenda, right? ChatGPT, you present information that's going to give you a reasonable answer based on the facts that you presented, right? It's not going to use any sort of bias. That there's no human bias in its mind. No, nothing like that. So you're just going to get straight answers, and that's what happened, right? And that does not jibe with the debunker mind, let me tell you. And we'll get into that here in a minute. But before we do, let's just look at some of the comments I received on this. Yeah, somebody wrote, okay, this is one of the, this was a comment from someone on YouTube who didn't like it. It says, didn't think that it was probably lying to me or something. And this was Tic Tac Taco wrote, ChatGPT literally is just agreeable and says what you want. No, that's not what happened. Anybody who looks at what I did with that show, right, will know that that's not what happened. I wasn't trying to get it to say what I want. In fact, there were multiple times where I played devil's advocate in there and tried to get it to go in a different direction, but it didn't. Based on the facts that I had given it, that are indisputable facts that I put in there, imagery, little video segments that I put in there, it made the determination in the end that it was a greater than 99% chance that the event actually happened. That's because it did happen. It did happen. But anyway, he wrote, ChatGPT literally is just agreeable and says what you want. Ask it all those same questions, but with a tone suggesting a negative outcome. Please do not use language models as some arbiter of truth. They literally just mimic language and have no concept of when they are lying to you. And there was a couple of my other subscribers responded to this. Alexander G wrote, "It's not just a language model. It has real conceptual understanding of abstract and concrete concepts. It's an AI neural network trained as an LLM, but also with image and sound understanding." Yes, exactly. Spore0011 wrote, "It depends on what you ask, but ChatGPT does have a basic reasoning ability that improves with each iteration. The quality of your prompt also matters. I find that it often provides balanced perspectives and, ironically, reasons better than many people do. Many individuals hold unreasonable views while believing they are reasonable. Personally, I don't find people to be particularly rational. Just because ChatGPT doesn't push back doesn't mean it isn't being reasonable in response to Jim's points. It all depends on the perspective and what constitutes negative tones. ChatGPT could be interpreting Jim's comments differently. For example, regarding the shadow issue, it corrected itself and realized its initial stance was unreasonable. Initially, it didn't agree with Jim that it was a shadow, but it changed its position based on new information. That is something I find many people fail to do." Yeah, like what happened in there, when it first saw one of the images, and the face above the fence, the alien face above the fence, it made the comment that one of the possibilities is that it could be a shadow or a pareidolia and that kind of thing. But then I asked a question about, well, a shadow needs a flat surface, right? And then, oh yeah, it needs a flat surface, ChatGPT replied. And then I said, well, then that's not a shadow. Then why did you say it could be a shadow? And then it said, no, you're right, it couldn't be a shadow. See, it reasoned itself through these different things reasonably, like a reasonable person would, without any sort of bias. The debunkers hate it, though. They hate it. And here was another comment from a guy who is skeptical of all of this stuff, who leaves comments here on my YouTube channel, a couple of them before too. But this one he wrote, "I have to do this for my UFO video. Would be interested to see what it says about the teleportation." So this guy who doesn't make any videos, John Fennessy, no, I didn't see any videos on his channel there. But he says he wants to, maybe it will tell me teleportation is real too. Basically, that's what the gist of this was. So I wrote back, I said, "Teleportation is science fiction, though, unless you're talking about quantum teleportation, which is real. One could possibly generate a robust conversation about Star Trek-style teleportation and develop some interesting hypotheses on how it someday might be possible, but that's about it. The AI chatbot, unlike a dishonest and foolish debunker, was able to conclude the veracity of the Vegas case because it is designed to reason through the evidence presented without the filter of a biased and or idiotic agenda." Yeah. But most of the comments I received here on YouTube and on Spotify were very, very positive about this interaction with ChatGPT with regard to the Vegas case. Here was one from Sal, the UFO guy, says, "Raccoons and coyotes. Wow. What a bird, meaning like an alcoholic in denial. They need to create a program. UFO Anonymous. We all know this is real." And Tony Barnes responded to that saying, "Of course it's real, indubitably so. Seriously, though, of course it's real. Even simply applying Occam's razor tells us so." So basically what Sal, the UFO guy, was referring to there was the fact that, I plugged in what Mick West had said about what was in the yard. And he said it was possibly raccoons and or coyotes. And ChatGPT found that ridiculous and absurd. You gotta check. If you haven't seen that show yet, you should check it out because it's an eye opener. Or at the very least, if you go to the episode, you'll find a link in the description of the previous episode where you could actually just click on that link and you can see all the questions and how ChatGPT answered all those questions, and then reached its ultimate conclusions on these different things. Let's see what else. What other messages? Here was one from Maxwell Santiago. He says, "Can you use the AI on the turkey video?" And I wrote back, "Yes, you can use it for anything you want. I'm thinking about seeing what it has to say about that case, Ariel School, etc." Yeah, we'll see. I mean, now I didn't realize, how strong this is really getting, this chat. I mean, last time I used it, I don't remember it having all these kind of features it has now. It looks like it's getting better and better all the time. And it could break down numbers for you. It can give you percentages of an incident, whether it was real or faked, or there's a lot of different things. You plug in the correct facts about something, and you're going to get answers from it, and it's going to be you might be surprised, maybe you won't be surprised, but whatever the case, it was a lot of fun to do this. I'll tell you, it was really something. Yeah, and here was someone from Race One says he loves the show, but he wanted it to could be condensed a little bit. Well, maybe 30 minutes max. Well, for that last show, I had to be. I actually thought about breaking it up into 2 or maybe even 3, but I thought it would be better to have the whole thing in one shot so people could get the full impact of it. So that's why it was long. I don't usually do shows that are almost an hour and a half long. Usually when I do, it's usually if I'm interviewing someone. Now today's show is probably going to be over half an hour, but what are you going to do? Let's see what else. Jimmy D says, LOL, it's amazing that ChatGPT sounds so much more intelligent than the guy that won't even take the time to study the case. Cracks me up. ChatGPT owned him. Yeah, Mick West was offered $5,000 and he turned it down to provide an analysis and an effort to debunk Scott Roeder's analysis, and he turned it down. That's why, like I've said it before, because he can't. He's incapable of debunking it. You can't debunk something that really happened like this. There's just too factors involved that point in one direction, just as ChatGPT indicated. So Mick West knows it. Everyone who has a thinking brain, who can critically think for themselves, that aren't some part of some cult, are going to know that this really happened. And of course, like I also believe that there might be some people out there that they might have a mental block that might prevent them from readily accepting this evidence from that case. Here was a comment from Penny Power 2331. Absolutely fascinating, Jim. Again, thank you for chipping away at this. Regarding your comment around 11027 relating to Scott Roeder and all his efforts, agreed. Scott adds a lot of weight to this case as an expert in the field of evidence. But it's YouTubers like yourself, Jim, everyday people going the extra mile to keep this case alive so it doesn't fade away like so many others have. You keep it real. Many thanks for your hard work. Cheers from Melbourne, Australia. Well, thank you very much for that comment. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Here was from They Are Not All Drones wrote, I genuinely did not think ChatGPT would say 90% of the things it said here, man. When I've asked it about things like this before, it's given me weird generalized answers that just back up the mainstream narrative. I didn't try very hard though. Haha. Great video, man. Yeah, I mean, if you watch that, you'll see how I started off. I started off slow and I just built up. I just built it up to a point where, and then I provided different facts. I provided different images for it to look at, and provide answers on what these images might be showing. And then I just continued to just plug in more information, slowly building the case. And ChatGPT, in the end, determined correctly that this incident, the probability that it was real is very high. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's 100%. ChatGPT, it's over 99%. The chances that it's not real, according to ChatGPT, is between 0.1% and 0.5%. That's the only chance it's given. All right. And then also keep in mind, I didn't plug in all the information. I didn't plug in all the facts related to this case. And maybe if I had, maybe that would even make it even higher, the percentage. Who knows? Here was from Jeffrey Green 5507. He wrote, very informative analysis by ChatGPT. This shows that a large language model AI, or LLM, can provide unbiased information using all sources of an observation, not only the video. I think that the context supporting events, the crash, and human testimony is largely ignored by the debunkers. They don't understand how important it is to look at everything. Yes. The fact is that we do know that there are extraterrestrials among us. Let ChatGPT analyze every UAP incident since mankind has observed, including all testimonies and physical evidence, and ask it what is going on. This will provide more unbiased proof than anything a person can show or say. I wrote back, what I found interesting is that a couple of times I played devil's advocate, but that didn't matter. For instance, when I introduced the concept that the sound was merely something vibrating on the ground, the AI program still believed it was way more likely that the object itself was responsible for the sound. Yes, ChatGPT initially determined when it listened to the video of the object coming down that had the sound, where the craft was coming down, you hear that oscillating sound. It initially listened to it, and it came to the conclusion that this was, it was some kind of mechanical, or could even maybe vocalizations, but it wasn't the sound of a meteor. But then I played devil's advocate, and I put in the idea that, well, couldn't it have been vibrating things that were on the ground? As if it was a meteor, it could have caused other things on the ground to vibrate, and that could be what we were hearing. And it said that could be true, but probably not, because this is not what that is. The sound is more than likely coming from the object that you see coming from the sky, and that was opposite of what a Christopher Hurd, an astronomer with the University of Alberta, had told me a year ago. He said that he thinks it's a meteor, and that the sound we hear is the sound of localized vibrations. ChatGPT, though, says otherwise. I felt otherwise, too. I think Christopher Hurd was wrong about that. But then again, someone like in that position, what else are they going to say? I mean, if they say, oh, yeah, I think it's definitely odd, it's weird, could be UFO, could be something. If he says something like that, well, then his peers aren't going to take him seriously anymore because of this stigma. And I did get a couple of comments from people saying they watched it twice, or they're going to watch it a second time. And I do appreciate that. Now, shooting over to Spotify. I received a lot of really good positive comments for the most part. There was one that we'll go over a little bit later. But this one here was from Jeff Bright. He says, I have been doing my own small bit every day to try to push this into the light. This has given me renewed vigor. Keep pushing. He's basically talking about this case. He believes in it. Here I received this from double question mark. Says, math is a universal language and numbers don't lie. No mumbo jumbo here, just hard numbers. The 0.1% must be coyote/raccoon theorists. Rob Boiter says, this was incredible. I need to listen to this one again. Don 84U8KG says, even AI can't deny the undeniable backbreaker. Of course it cannot. The undeniable backbreaker, of course, or UB is the little gray alien that we see in the video. JEM Recycling says, you should send/tag this episode to West, Knapp, Corbell, Coltart, and a few others. They all have zero respect for me because of the lack of reporting. Great episode. Jason L. Frederick says, thank you for this analysis. I think AI technology is going to give us the tools we need for our own disclosure. We're only at the beginning of what it can do. Yes, it's very interesting, isn't it? And then here was a comment that was on Spotify, and it has been you know how they were selecting on Wikipedia? They were making selections for to delete people who are UFO disclosure advocates, right? I've selected a name from my Spotify comments of a name that I've selected for deletion to the cornfield of pure idiocy. So here we are. We've reached a new episode, a new segment of Cornfield of Pure Idiocy. And here's the comment. This was from someone who goes by the name Andrew Foster. Whether that's a real name or not, I have no idea. Just somebody, random person on the internet who I've never seen a comment from. And this is what this person wrote. And this, as you'll see, this comment that I'm about to read to you and show you is absolute proof that of what I think. To me, this backs up a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about how their whole ideology is completely bankrupt. They have nowhere else to turn. It's over. They're incapable of trying to provide any sort of rebuttal to the stuff that we've been presenting, particularly when it comes to the Las Vegas alien incident. And you'll see that on display here in full force. It says here, can I get some additional bad acting skills with that lack of certainty? More confirmation bias needed to never convince me. Never. No implied certainty. Listen to what these kinds of people are saying. They might make a lot of hype claims which purport a viewpoint to be consistent with the audience, but listen to what they're actually saying. He doesn't believe any of this. He doesn't. He's just making money off of you suckers. So, This is what they do. This is what debunkers do. I don't know if this is a debunker using a phony name or if it's a debunker acolyte, like a wide-eyed cultist follower. I don't know. It's either A or B, right? It could be a sock puppet of a debunker, or it could be just an acolyte of a debunker. Whatever the case. But this person says, and you could feel the desperation in the first sentence. He says more confirmation bias needed to never convince me. Never. He's very, very upset. So this is never going to convince him. You're never going to convince me. That's what it sounds like to me. That's the vibe I'm getting off of this. And then when then he talks about how that I don't actually believe any of this, right? And everyone out there is just a bunch of suckers, and I'm just trying to make money off of them. That's his statement. So what this proves is what we've been talking about a lot, and what ChatGPT actually brought up as well, is the fact that these people they can't what they can't do is they because they cannot refute this, right? So then they just go after the person, go after the messenger. This is character assassination. That's what this is. So this idiot, right, Andrew Foster or whatever his name is, right, is getting sent to the cornfield of pure idiocy because he's an idiot, a total absolute idiot who's just making up shit on here and posting it. And I'm not going to deal with. I'm not going to deal with people like this. This guy's a complete absolute idiot, absolutely desperate. There's no point. Why is this person even bothering to look at this? If nothing's ever going to convince me, you'll never make me believe it. You'll never make me believe it. Why is he even bother? If that's how you feel, why are you even looking at this? Why do you even care? These people are scared rabbits. I'm telling you. I think in a lot of them, they actually know in the back of their mind this is real, and they don't want to face it, so they're going to go after you. You're telling me it's real. I don't like you anymore. I don't like you at all. If you watch him, he's just a sucker after your money. That's what I get out of it. Okay, that was probably bad. Maybe I'm a bad actor sometimes when I act like that. Okay, who cares? I don't care. But the bottom line is this: is that you guys are idiots, and you're going to the cornfield of pure idiocy because I think you're an idiot, and you just can't deal with truth. You're a bunch of babies. Grow up already. It's real. Look at the information. Look at the. He must have watched some of that previous show, and it really must have got to him so bad that you'll never convince me. You'll never. Maybe I'll win an Oscar for this one. Maybe I'll get nominated for, instead of getting nominated for, I can't get deleted from anything because I'm not on any list, right? So maybe I'll get nominated for an Academy Award or something. I don't know. Anyway, Andrew Foster, I now banish you to the cornfield of pure idiocy for just being a baby and a person incapable of facing reality. I'm very sorry for you. Goodbye. Anyway, that's it for today. I want to say thank you all for joining me. Until next time.